with a beautiful woman, Masarrat. She is the legend, she is style icon, and she is beauty expert. Welcome, ma'am, on this one incredible platform.
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity.
We are quite privileged today, and we are overexcited today, I would say. So let's start this conversation with your personal journey. How did it begin actually?
Oh, that's a long story. You can see from my gray hair. It's been so many years now. Well, I actually started as a beautician in 1980. So when I first opened my salon in Karachi by the name of Depilex, it's been now 40 years. 40 years is a very long time. But Alhamdulillah, Allah has been very kind. And right now we've got more than 76 branches all over Pakistan. So Depilex is actually one of the largest chain of beauty salons with, of course, because it is a women-oriented business. So we have got many women who are part of our family, part of our team. And on an average, one salon would have maybe about 35-40 girls, which means 35-40 women are being empowered, which also means that 35-40 houses, homes, families are actually being taken care by these women.
Oh, that's beautiful. So when we look back 40 years before, I would say it's there must be no, modern technology. The people won't be think about to go to parlors might be, the beauty, industry must be not that, well developed as today. So how did this idea strike to you to develop with Depilex?
Okay, so back in 80s, women were not actually given that much opportunities to venture into other fields. The only two fields that I could remember at my time was become a doctor or become a teacher. So I always wanted to become a doctor, but I got married at a very young age. And it was not that I was forced into marrying, but I was the eldest in the family. And my parents thought that, well, this is a good rishta and, you get married. And the only question which I asked my father was that, Daddy, I would like to, become a doctor. And he goes that, they've promised they will let you study. But unfortunately, they didn't. And my marriage didn't last long. When I came back to my parents' house, my kid was maybe a few months old. And then I was given an opportunity to start my studies again. But I was so adamant that I would raise my child myself. I said, no, Daddy, I want to earn my own living. Not that my father couldn't afford me. I think he can afford maybe 50 more women like me. But, I was, maybe a, strong-headed person, which I didn't know at that time. I thought, मुझे अपने बच्चे को पालना है, that was the thing. मैंने खुद काम करना है. But when you have a support system, a family which is always there for you, my father, my mother, and my younger brothers and sisters were always there. So they said, okay, fine. My father looked at me. There was a smirk on his face. I'm sure he must have thought कि ना मुँह ना मत्था जिन चढ़े पता नहीं कहाँ. So I thought कि he said, fine. What do you want to do? And at that time there were no laptops or communication was through writing letters and all. So I said, I want to start a business. So we wrote to different colleges in UK, and so the first reply was from a beauty school. Okay? So it was in London, and so I went abroad, left my little boy with my parents. I was very upset, I was very sad, but then I was also I have to do it. So when I went there, I was in central London in a private school. It was from the morning shift, and then I would just take a break and I will go to another school to get my hairdressing done. So within 8 months or something, a little more than that, When I came back, I had done my aesthetician course, cosmetology, hairdressing, makeup, um, and some management courses, whatever I could get there. I did that. And but then I was lucky because my family could afford, they could afford to invest on me, or investment at that time was not the criteria. It was they wanted to, maybe they feel guilty that बच्ची divorce होके आ गई है घर में बड़ी है, that kind of a thing. But when I came back, I was in for another surprise. My father and my parents, both my mother, they actually had set up a small salon for me on Tariq Road in Karachi.
Well,
And when we went in, there was this huge big barber's shop. And I said, Daddy, I am going to be opening a ladies salon. I said, but you know where I go? I have my cut. They have these big chairs. It's comfortable. So I said, okay, now that he's done it,
something.
So this is how we started. And the name Deplex actually comes from the company that I bought my machines and my training and cosmetics also, products also. And at that time, I think I just asked them, I said, can I use your name? And they said, yes, why not? So I started using their name Deplex, but I called it Deplex Beauty Clinic and Institute. Clinic, reason being that I wanted under one umbrella, a woman could walk in, get her makeup done, haircut or whatever, and maybe if she has some problems like maybe acne is really bad, which I can't help, or maybe she's overweight, my machines couldn't help her shed and make her look, from 16 to 10 or 12. So then I had a panel of doctors with me. So this was at that time was like unthinkable of, like why would you have a doctor in a beauty salon, but that's why I call it clinic. And this is how, I started, and in 1980, and then there was no turning back.
Oh, yes. So, well, that incredible genius, who thought unique ideas, way back 40 years back, I would say, you had a clinic, a panel of doctors, and a beauty salon as well. So, and now when we talk about Masarrat Misbah, it comes like she's a very successful woman and who is doing lots of work for social cause. You must have gone through few challenges, although you were fortunate enough.
Few is not the word, many.
So can we share a few of the challenges that you have gone through? Out of many, few of the challenges can we share?
I remember the first day, maybe just the first week of my opening up my salon. And I always narrate this story because people can relate to it, women can relate to it. Now I come from a family of business. My father has been into pharmaceutical, and so maybe the business acumen is something which is maybe built inside us, that which I didn't know that at that time. But I thought that, now that I've opened, I used to, drop my son to a kindergarten, and, and I would go early in the morning. I was the first one to open my salon, last one to leave my salon, passionate about working hard and making life easy for my son and being independent. Okay. Now these were the words which were not, nobody would think about at that time. Yeah. There was no such thing as me being empowered or me being a businesswoman. It was just that I want to do something. And I also know that so when I went upstairs and to my neighbors to introduce myself, this lady shouted at me and she says, now your kind of women are going to spoil this mohalla, this neighborhood, and because they thought that if you are a beautician, then you are not a good person. Women were looked down upon at that time. Being a beautician means somebody who's very fast, who could be all made up and would be attending parties and all. I mean, hello, excuse me, but this is how the mentality is that at that time was. Now, my field, my beauty industry is actually a very good business for women. So when this lady said to me that now, who are you, and you may be from blah, 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 whatever she said. I started crying. I came back home and I said to my father, I said, Daddy, maybe we have chosen a wrong, field, a profession. And Daddy said that, look, Betty, you're responsible for your own deeds. So let her say whatever she wants to say. You just do whatever you're doing. And that day onwards, when I'm walking up the stairs to open my salon, that lady was a padhi likhi aurat. She was maybe a lawyer because she used to wear some gown and all. And I would say Assalamu alaikum and she would go, she had this, she didn't like me, But 2 or 3 years down the lane, she walked into my office with her daughter and she said, she's a dropout. She doesn't study properly. Make her like you. And I thought, all right, thank you so much. And she looked at my certificates and she says, oh, so you are educated. Now, what has happened is that during that time, I did finish my graduation, my inter, and then whenever we used to go out of the country on our family holidays and all, if my family is visiting and they are going to parks and cinemas and all, I would pick up small courses because I wanted to learn more. So this learning more was something which paid off, later in my life, because I think that puts me above, makes me more technical and more, padhi likhi in my field.
Well, as it's a beautiful story indeed, and I hope कि ये बहुत सी women को बहुत courage देगी, because life without challenges, challenge का नाम नहीं है, I would say. So यहाँ मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि since you're a style icon, yet with simplicity. So what is the secret behind this all style that you carries, and so beautiful with the wow factor, I would say.
I love you too.
Thank you.
See, what happened is that I think we all go through different eras in our life. जिसे कहते हैं ना दौर होते हैं. When you're young, you would follow the fashion. You would like to look more beautiful. To me, all women are beautiful. All girls are beautiful. But whoever wants to enhance their beauty has to be done in a proper way. You have to learn to improve your personality, and you have to know exactly what is the demand of that time and era. So in 80s, the fashion was different, and not that I wasn't, I was not grey like this, I was young at that time, okay? Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, I do.
So that time, my goal and my focus and my target was different. So I maybe behaved, and I was living the way, things were there. And then with time, you become mature, and you also realize that there are more things around you, issues, because when I got divorced and when I started working, I thought it was the end of the world. How can I live? How would I pass my life? I was so young. But then, when you get into the practical life, and you meet people, then you see the challenges of other women, other people around you who are maybe in much more worse condition than yourself, and you say, thank you, Allah Ta'ala. And that's what I have learned in my life, that I always thank. Even if I hit my elbow, I said, thank you, Allah Mia, because can you imagine if I had hit badly, and what if it was a broken elbow? तो आज मैं ऐसे बैठी हुई होती आपके पास है ना. देखो मैं हाँ. So I have to say thank you to Allah Ta'ala all the time. So with the passage of time, I was maybe way ahead of my time also. I'm not a MBA person, कि मैंने Masters of Business Administration किया हुआ हो. But yes, I have eyes, and I've got akal, and I know how to use it. Eyes tells me, what is beautiful around me, and akal tells me what I have to do more to make it more beautiful, May it be a flower arrangement, may it be the birds that I see chirping in the morning, or the greens, or the young girls, or maybe the street children, who are running and they're happy. So, you have to be thankful to Allah Ta'ala all the time. and you know, learn that if I was a poor woman from a very humble background, then my way of living and making people understand would be probably different. But then Allah Ta'ala has given me eyes and akal, so I would use it to improve myself. People who don't improve themselves, women who think, हाय मैं औरत हूँ, मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ, हाय मेरे साथ जुल्म हो रहा है, होता है because you're living in a maybe in an environment जहाँ पर ये चीज़ें are accepted. You know, your mother was beaten up, so you will be beaten up by your husband, or you will tell your child that कुछ करना नहीं, मरोगी तो फिर उस घर से निकलोगी. So these kinds of things have now slowly and gradually changed. So I have also changed. I have also matured. I was mature maybe at that time also, to not to take my divorce as a taboo, which it was at that time, not to give in, and not to feel dejected and a failure. Even if I was a failure, look, you know, Allah Ta'ala has given me so much more. So, you know.
Well, you're mesmerizing me at the moment, and I'm getting emotional too, I would say. You did absolutely a wonderful job, that you only not, give up, divorce was a taboo exactly at that time. And still I would say to some extent it is taboo. So you're not only beautiful from outside, you're a beautiful soul too.
And that's my makeup.
So that's your expertise too, I would say, all right? So here I would like to know your journey towards Smile Again Foundation.
So, like I told earlier also, you have different eras in your life, you know, and you behave, act, feel responsible, and you would like to be, maybe you have some goals, you have some targets, and you want to achieve it. And this is in 2003, when I was at the peak of my business. My business was flourishing, and my children were going to good schools. I had no problems actually. It's only when you see the problems which are there in your life and that you have overcome, and then you see people around you, because you have overcome your problems and you have problems which are around you, and you say, hello, can I not do anything to maybe help them, to maybe eradicate something and make it look more better, beautiful. So one fine day, this young girl walked into my office. She was covered up, she was clad in a burqa, and she said to me, I was about to leave my office. I was the last person, as I said, first to enter and last to leave. So I said to her, she said, I want your help. And I said, come tomorrow. And she says, नहीं, आप जो इतनी बड़ी beautician हैं, मुझे ठीक करें. And I was taken aback, why would somebody talk to me like this? And then when she removed her veil, I was going out, I was leaving my premises, and I sat down because I thought I have no life left in my legs. I was so wobbly. And this girl who was in front of me was actually a woman without a face. She had one eye missing. There was a hole inside of her nose. Her neck and chin were contractured. And I was quiet. And I said, आप बैठिए, आपको क्या हुआ है? And she goes, somebody has thrown acid on her face. I made her sit at the reception, and I went into my office to, I just couldn't believe it, what I was seeing, what I was hearing, and I didn't even know what to do for her. So I said to Allah Ta'ala, I thank Allah Ta'ala, that thank you Lamia for giving me this opportunity to help somebody, and also I thank Allah Ta'ala that has given me so much that I never felt this way. I went out and I told her that I'll have to take you to the hospital, so come tomorrow. And she said, I don't have a place to sleep. And I have to admit that I was a little weak at that time. I thought, what if somebody was following her, and whoever has thrown acid is actually after her? if I take care of her and take her home with me, what if I get the same, treatment? So I regret this fact now, today, because my strength and my belief in Allah Ta'ala was there at that time also, but now it is more. Okay? So I made her sleep there at night, and like I said, I prayed and I repented, and I was thankful also, grateful also, and the next morning I took her to the hospital. And while I was thinking about her, and after a week or so, I said that maybe it is time that I could help not just one person, I could actually help few more girls, because I have got money enough to help this girl and few more. So after 15-20 days, I placed an advertisement in the newspaper saying that if you are acid or kerosene oil burnt victim, come to Deplex on such and such date, and there will be a free medical camp. Now I was in for another shock. There were 42 women, girls, children who walked in that day. 42 girls, women who've been burnt recently, women who've been burnt maybe 20 years back. Some of the wounds were raw, some of them have gotten so dried that gets contractured. So the hands were like together, or the fingers were, it was in a very bad state. So I said to Allah Ta'ala, I said, Allah, I wanted few girls, I can't help all of these girls. But then I later realized that, and of course I knew that time also, that Allah Ta'ala gives you only that much which you can sustain, which you can take care of. So this is how Deplex Smiling End Foundation started. And then in 2005 I got it registered. And now from 2003, when the idea was conceptualized, till today we've got more than 760 victims registered with us, who've been either burnt with acid or kerosene oil, accidental cases also, because I realized that there are times when women are thrown acid and children are also around, so they also become part of that vengeance, that act, or sometimes they actually burn them alive, and if they are alive, then we help them. So this is how we started working for these women.
As you're working for the women to uplift them in the society, and you're doing a great job for acid victims, I would say. So does government helping Smile Foundation or providing any sort of support?
Government state is aware of the fact that this is one of the crime. To me it is one of the most heinous domestic violence. But they have got other, maybe they think that they've got more issues which are more important. I do get appreciated by them. I do get awards, rewards, medals, but I appreciate that.
So undoubtedly you're doing a great job, and I hope that sooner or later government will be also take part into this social cause. And yes, they would have to realize that this is the major serious issue where the society required to work upon. हम बहुत intense sort of conversation में जा रहे थे. अभी आपने बहुत awards लिए हैं. You have got the Pride of Performance Award from the government of Pakistan. You have got some international awards as well. Okay, so I just want you to share those moments when you first time got Pride of Performance. That must be a biggest moment of your life.
Yes, it was. This is actually the first step that somebody know. So the government has actually amended some laws to help these women. We are working on how to stop the domestic and commercial sale of acid. Not stop, but regulate. We're working on that. So government has taken initiative, which is amazing. But like I said, that there are much more bigger issues than maybe women. Although women constitute more than 50% of our population, But one day, things would be better, much better. Coming back to the awards, from Pride of Performance to international awards by different countries, and like Lux Award to make the conversation a little lighter. When somebody gives you a Lifetime Achievement Award, it only shows two things. You have reached that time in your age where they think that you can't do anymore, or they say, well, all right, now this time we give her this award, and she's off our back. So Lifetime Achievement Awards are actually, again, encourages you. It not only encourages me, it's not going to stop me from working, but maybe it gives an idea to the upcoming generation, younger generation, to work as hard as I have worked to gain this, and I'm not saying that young generation is not doing good. They must be doing much more better than me, because if I think about it, I started working for Smile Again Foundation in 2003, right? And there are young children and women and girls who are coming out of the schools and they are working on issues. So I think that they are much more ahead of me. Thank God, that they are actually aware of the fact that there are issues pertaining to maybe water, environment, women, honor killing. There's so many. So everyone is putting in their efforts and everyone is pulling in, so which is a good sign. So I personally think that it is really good when you receive encouragement. How do one feels? I feel good. There are times when I feel that lo ji ab mujhe diya hai, but then I say, do I deserve these awards? Do I deserve these medals? Is Allah Ta'ala going to repay me more? Yes, He will. And I'm waiting for His reward. That's my ultimate goal. These awards, these medals, I am grateful to everyone. But I wait for His reward.
Definitely, when you work for the people, you must be rewarded. And I would pray for that too. So, Masarrat Appa, at the moment you are a source of inspiration for a number of women across Pakistan, and you inspire acid victim ki rehabilitation se leke, beauty experts tak, and every single woman of Pakistan must be inspired by you at the moment. Was there somebody who inspired you in your life?
I think my inspiration keeps changing, because my goals and my targets also keeps changing. When I started, my goal was to take care of my son, and at that time my parents were my inspiration, because they were the one who gave me all help and support and boosted me. Then later on, when I started teaching the girls, because and like I said, that was Deplex Beauty Clinic and Institute, so started teaching girls after 1 year of my starting this salon. So they were girls, young girls or girls from very humble background who would never get an opportunity to go abroad. They did so well, and they would open up their own salons. I remember there were women or my own relatives say, "Aap pagal ho gayi hain, aap inko apna hunar sikha rahi hain." Education is to be imparted. Skills are to be imparted, so that more and more people can learn about it. You can't hold on to it. So that was the inspiration. And then as time passed, and as I learned more and I became more mature, I realized that my inspiration should have been, and which is now, all those women in our religion, in our mazhab, from Hazrat Khatija Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu, who was the first businesswoman. Look at her business acumen, that not only was she one of the best businesswomen, but then she proposed to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Look at her confidence. That was empowerment. We know these words now, because we think that this is what it is all about, earning and learning and becoming big. So from Hazrat Khatija to Hazrat Bibi Maryam, she was a single parent. She gave birth in a remote area. Look how much
women were
pain
empowered,
she must have gone through. Or you look at Hazrat Aisha, Razillah Ta'ala anhu. Or you look at Hazrat Hafsa. You look, Hazrat Sulema was actually part of Sulh Hudaybiyah treaty. वो counsel करती थी. So women were at that time, 1400 years back, were given everything from a religion, from every relation. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would get up from his place and let Hazrat Fatmatul Zohra sit, where he was sitting. So there was no such thing as jihaaz. There was no such thing as women not going to the wars. There were no such thing as women not writing, scholars. So you name it and they were all there. We don't read, we don't realize that for us, our role models are the women in our religion so many years back and later on also. It's just a matter of us getting that knowledge. And when mothers who are single parents or parents who've got children, when they teach Quran and they say, जी कुरान पढ़ा दिया है, बिस्मिल्लाह पढ़ ली, आपने मिठाई बांट दी, we have done our job. No, the job starts when you actually start making them realize that learn and understand. And when you are understanding Quran, it's not going to make you alima, it's not going to make you a scholar, but only make you a good human being. Difference between good and bad, difference between guna and sawab, difference between the shirk and bidat, and your confidence, your mazbuti, aapka tawakkul. Allah Ta'ala has given you so much and you want more. Why can't you just say assalamu alaikum and bahut bahut shukriya? Or why can't you say mashallah rather than saying hai iske paas itna hai? Why hi? I mean, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala has been kind to her. She must have done something. He must have done something to deserve this. We are nobody to judge anybody. We are responsible for our own deeds. So, to me, I think a woman has to be empowered not only through education, but knowledge and knowledge about religion also. And I know that once you know your responsibilities, you can actually stand up, perform those responsibilities with the utmost of your abilities, and then ask for your rights. भाई आप फिर हुकूक की जंग करें, अब अपना काम तो कर लें पूरा, काम आप पूरा नहीं करेंगी और आप नारे लगाएंगे.
It's such a beautiful conversation that I really don't want to end it today, but I know the time is short and obviously you have to rush for some other appointment. आज मेरे सामने there is a proud daughter of Pakistan, I would say, who made Pakistan proud too. You are a proud mother too, and I'm sure about it that the cause that you have started working to raise your son, he must be a very gentleman, and he must be आपके footsteps को follow कर रहा होगा. I'm sure about it. At time, give any message to the youth of Pakistan.
So my son is a teacher, and he loves teaching, which also means that he's imparting education. I have a daughter also. She has taken care of my business, gives me more time to take care of my Smile Again Foundation girls. My message to all the women, not only just in Pakistan but all around the world, is to know your responsibilities, perform them well, and don't hesitate to ask for your rights. Voice your concern, discuss your issues. You have to talk, you have to tell somebody to actually make them understand. But when you make them understand, you've got to be polite, you've got to be humble. This is what Allah wants you to be. So every relation has to be given that respect. It's not just mother, कि उनके पाँव के नीचे जन्नत है. There are other relations also, like daughters, like daughter-in-laws, maybe sisters or aunts. Every beautiful relation has to end in a beautiful scenario because you understand that relation.
Thank you very much. I was quite mesmerized through this conversation. and we are really honored that you graced our platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you.